Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 4 of our Super Size You annual challenge. Yep, it's an annual challenge. We're going to show up every day for ourselves and make sure that we are becoming the best possible version of ourselves. We're not going to have a huge thing every day, but we're going to do at least one little thing, at least think about, write down, pay attention to, become more aware of, something every single day to make us a better human being, a better version of ourselves, a supersized version of ourselves, right? So what the heck is this 9-part life framework, and why should you care? Well, it's a framework that I literally learned from Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins back in the early 1980s. Jim Rohn was getting older by then, and Tony Robbins was working with him. And I learned a 7-part life framework from them: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. That was their framework for covering all the bases and making sure that their life worked and clicked on all 7 cylinders back then. Well, in 2020 with the pandemic, so I used that for a lot of years, and I will admit I used it on and off. I used it when I was actually mapping out and planning my life ahead of time. When life got super chaotic, raising my family and being in a bad relationship, I threw it out the window, which was the exact opposite of what I should have done. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. We look back, we're like, okay, well, why did I do that? And if we're honest with ourselves, we will tell ourselves why. Usually it's to keep us safe, or because we're in a situation that isn't good for us and we don't want to get out of it yet, or we haven't committed to putting ourselves first and getting out of it. Maybe it's a job that isn't right for you. Been in some of those, right? When you take that opportunity, you think it's right for you and it's going to last a long, long time. And I learned about myself through self-awareness and paying attention and looking back in the past, which we'll do once a month in each of these different areas and aspects of our life. We're going to look at things that you may not have ever considered or gone back and looked at again, because some of those things are still holding us back. We don't realize it, but they absolutely positively are. I am in a 6-month challenge with a spiritual group on the school platform, and it is incredible, all of the stuff, and I don't always call it stuff, that's come up for me personally that I thought I had dealt with and let go of ages ago, like even some of it decades ago. So we are all continual work in processes. But anyway, back to what I was talking about, the 9-part life framework. In 2020, as part of the pandemic, when a lot of people were sitting and twiddling their thumbs and waiting for the world to go back to normal, I was getting some coaching with a group of people that was amazing, but it was on core skills and things that we want to develop because they positively impact every area and aspect of our life. And the 2 that I selected to adopt and add to my life framework are communication and confidence. Why? Because if we don't know how to communicate, and if we don't have confidence and believe in ourselves, and I'm going to say self-confidence and then the confidence we develop and help other people to develop in themselves, because nobody can really give us confidence. It's like so many things. It comes from within us, and it's up to us. It's like motivation. It's up to us to motivate ourselves, to be self-starters, to decide what's right for us and then go after that. Nobody can actually do that for us. They can encourage us, they can give us feedback, they can help, but it's always ultimately up to me and up to you what actions we're going to decide to take or not take. So I had a communication and confidence and it became a 9-part life framework. And I've been sharing it ever since 2020. 2020 on and off, I did a 30-day plus challenge every other month during 2020 and 2021 because honestly, because I wanted to keep moving during the pandemic, and I wanted to bring some people along with me, right? Because I was observing with horror, actually, my business friends just shutting their businesses down right and left. And it was heartbreaking because they had spent years and years, some of them decades, creating and building those businesses, and they disappeared in a very, very short time for a lot of reasons. I mean, it was always our choice whether we shut a business down or not. I've shut businesses down before because of a lot of things, right? I never make a big decision like that lightly. So today, what are we going to do now that I've rambled 5 minutes about this? I want you to think about all of these different areas and aspects of you as a human being: physical, our physical bodies, things that physically happen to us, our health, we'll talk about all these for 30 days. Mental, mindset, thoughts, beliefs, emotional. I like to think that I'm this amazingly objective human being. And I always notice that you can see on my kids' faces within an instant what's going on with them, my daughter especially. And she's like, well, Mom, where do you think I got it from? Light bulb moment, yeah. So emotional, spiritual, we got to be connected to something outside and bigger than us in order to understand our purpose here on planet Earth. Financial, that one's pretty self-evident. Relationships, each of these impact every other area and aspect of our life. Contribution, what am I putting out into the world? How am I making the world a better place? If you're listening to me or following me at all, I think I probably mentioned this at least once a day in one of my videos. If we're not doing something to make the world a better place, why bother, right? If we're not helping those we love and care about, what's the point of what we're doing? And then communication and confidence, like I met this stage. What I want you to think about today is think about, and just briefly think about, what does the perfect version of that, the supersized version of that, look like for you? You don't have to write it down even. Just think about it today, because we're going to go deep into each of these areas this year. But I want you to start getting your mind thinking about all these areas. Because I will tell you, if you ignore one or more of these areas for what is too long for you, you will have an event that happens or you won't be here anymore. And I speak from experience when I say that. I had a sudden cardiac arrest and died because I was not paying attention to at least 4 or 5 of these areas, and they simultaneously imploded and exploded on me along with my heart. So obviously it didn't stick, but it's why I wear warm, cozy clothes, because after that I was frozen. They froze your blood. They sent it through a frozen cooler so that it protects your organs when you have an event like that and your heart's not sending enough oxygen and all the good things that we need to the rest of our organs. So weird story, but I don't like being cold. I didn't like being cold before. Now I really don't like being cold. Okay, so think about these, and then I would like you to comment in the comments below which of these areas you want to see us go deep into in February. I've done them in different order. Not exactly. The first couple of years I did them sort of in this order, and then last year I totally blew them up and mixed them all up. I actually took my annual challenge book, and over the last 5 years, let's see if I can find it quickly, I looked at which order I had covered these in, and I'm like, I'm going to just mix it all up this year and see what. So in 23, 24, and 25, I just went back a couple of years and said, because that's when I really started sharing these openly. I think that if I'm using a tool that's working really, really well and helping me create the life I want, why the heck am I not sharing that with other people? And so I did them slightly different in 23 and 24, and then in 25 I totally messed them all up and did something totally, totally different, which was kind of fun. But what I want is I want to present them in the order, and I want to go deep into them in the order that's most important to you. I am leaning personally toward financial because I'm in a financial 6-month challenge. And so for me personally, that would be a great place to start, because it set the foundation for that challenge as well as this one. But I am not, I'm not connected to, or I have no, doesn't matter to me what order we cover them in. We're going to cover them all this year. So I want to start where you want to start. So whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, or confidence, just write in the comments below which area you want me to go into in February, because that's where we'll start. All right, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you know what to do. Just ask. Have an awesome day, and I will, of course, do it tomorrow.